Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is Monday. It is February 27th, which means we are in the last week of February. It's so hard for me to say February, the last week, because that means we are actually into the beginning part of March. And what that means now at this point, we only have 3 months of school left because you've got all of March, all of April, and then all of May, and then that's it. And so if I can do anything right now, I really want to encourage you guys to really buckle down and really fight through this last push. Down at Fairfield, hey, all you seniors, this is the time where you really, really, really want to put the pedal to the metal. For my athletes out there, this is where coaches, this is where we always say, this is your fourth quarter. This is where you really want to play through the whistle. You want to fight to the end. We do not want you coming down with a bad case of senioritis and you blowing everything that you've worked so hard for up until this point. This is the point, and this is the part of your life right now where you want to finish strong. And for our kindergartners and everyone else in between, this is the part where we really need you to be about your business. We still have school, we still have work, and the expectation is when you come to school, you're coming to work and you're coming to give your best. And ironically, this leads us exactly into what I wanted to talk about in this week's devotion and our memory verse. We are starting a new memory verse. We are starting a new trait. Our trait is endurance, and the memory verse comes from Hebrews. So why don't we go ahead and read it? And so it's from Hebrews 12:1, and it says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up, and let us run with endurance the race God has set before us." And so now we are working on the trait of endurance. And endurance is just simply the trait and the ability and the act of doing something to its completion. And it means pushing through and doing it whether you want to or not, whether you have the energy or not. And that's exactly where we are. You need to push through. Now, I guarantee you, if any of you ask any of the teachers who are listening, I guarantee you, if you ask Mr. Voice, or if you ask Miss Viana, or if you ask Mrs. Eberly, or if you ask Mr. Sanders, Mr. Conk, I guarantee you, if you say, hey, was there ever a time when you wanted to quit? I guarantee you, they will say, yes, there is a time that I wanted to quit, whatever it is. But I held in there, I endured, and I did what I had to do. And they're probably very proud of whatever it is they had to push through. So for you right now in your schoolwork, have that endurance. You need to have that endurance. It is actually a Christian trait. It's also one of the things, it's one of our Esslers as well. If you guys go through your Esslers, that's that sign above in every classroom that spells out lions. Endurance is part of your Esslers. You are at a school that preaches endurance because your Christian faith has an aspect of enduring when things are hard. It is difficult to endure when your friends no longer want to associate with you because you proclaim Jesus Christ. It is an endurance race when you are dealing with your family members who make fun of you or who look at you differently. It's an endurance to go to Bible study one day and then youth group another day and then church on yet another day and then to serve after that. But in the Bible, it tells us never grow weary of living in our faith. Never get weary of doing the right thing. And that's where we are. And then if you look at the memory verse here, I love how Paul starts this off. And Paul says, since we have a great multitude of witnesses, don't you know we have people looking at us all the time, and we should want that. We should want people looking at us. Why? Because we want to show them what it is to be a Christian, and we should want them to look at us so that they see something different in us, so then that they will want to follow the Christian faith. And that's what it says, for us living the faith. Remember, we studied a couple weeks ago when Paul wrote in another book, he says, just as I have lived among you. So here we see it again, where that theme is carried forward in a different part of the Bible. That's what I love about the Bible. We learn these things individually, but they all relate to each other. So Paul talked about the importance of living amongst the people and being a model. That's exactly what we're seeing here. We have people, we have a great multitude of witnesses around us. Another part of the Bible says we are called to be set apart. We are called to be a peculiar people. Peculiar means strange. So as Christians, we are a little bit strange and we are a little bit different to the rest of the world, and that's okay. That's what we want to be. We want to be different. We want to show love. We want to show kindness. We want to show respect. We want to show compassion and caring, even to those who despitefully use us. That's what we are called to do. And guess what? It's an endurance sport. So do not grow weary of doing the right thing. And finally, it says, as you are looking at us, we want to be a model. So let's throw away that great sin. Sin is sin. We all have sinned. But I ask you, what is that sin? What is that stumble that you've got to get over? Are you the one? Are you the one who talks all the time in class? Well, that's a sin because we are not following the instructions of the adult. Are you the one who has to have the last word? Are you the one who is never kind or respectful to those around you? Are you the one who always makes the untimely, inappropriate jokes? Are you the one who's lazy and never does their work? Are you the one who never listens to his or her parents or grandparents or guardians or whoever is in charge of them at home? Are you the one who constantly knows the rules but decides to do something different? Well, if you are committing a sin. You are causing other people to stumble because you are supposed to be, you have witnesses looking at you. So you are not supposed to live that way. You are supposed to live in direct opposite of those things. And that's what this verse is asking us to do. Sometimes some of the closest witnesses of our faith are those who also proclaim to be the faith, because we don't know where everyone is in our walk. So some people look at us. So some of your friends who go to other churches look at you because you go to Fairfield Christian School or you go to Natomas Christian School. And if you are out in the world, if you're yelling and cussing and not following instructions and being disrespectful to your parents and other adults, then you are giving permission to these other Christians who have just made the decision to do the same thing. Or you're giving a bad name to Christians around the world, young and old, because you're having a difficult time. You are causing the sin that's causing other people to struggle. So remember, we have a great deal of witnesses around us, but hang in there and have the endurance to live the Christian faith and to live your life right. So that's our verse for this week. That's our memory verse. Hang in there, finish strong, do great in your classes, listen to the adults, listen to your parents. Have an awesome week. Make sure you handle your business. And until next time, God bless you. Bye.